Hello. Thank you for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it. Please like it. Please subscribe. Today I am feeling good because I am outside. It's 28 degrees and I'm in beautiful Mexico City, which I highly recommend you go to if you have not been. It is beautiful here. But I had a quiet afternoon, and so I thought I would answer some of the questions in the Booktube Newbie Tag. I've been really enjoying watching other people's videos and hearing their answers and getting to know people a little bit. Sometimes content on the internet can just seem like one huge what's the word I want? Just one big amalgamous lump. And so it's nice to hear the different motivations that people have and the different things that people are passionate about. And I love thinking about things like this just on my own time. In fact, I'd probably journaled or thought about most of these questions before I decided to film this video. So I hope you find this interesting and that it gives you a bit more information about why I'm making videos. Please like, please subscribe, and let's answer some of the questions. I'm so excited. Okay. I realized I kind of edited the questions in the tag, kind of on purpose, kind of on accident. A little both. But it's close enough. Enjoy. So I have this problem in my life where I cannot decide what I want to do. I like many things. I like doing many things. And it feels that whenever I try to pick one of them, make a job out of one of them, I just miss all the other things too much. There's not enough time for them all. And so I'm having a really hard time picking a career that feels satisfying. And so one of the things that I want with his channel is to be able to partake in all the things I love. So Booktube is a part of this channel. And so are other things like food, and I'm hoping woodworking. I've kind of recently started to learn cabinet making. I did a year of school in cabinet making, and I really want to work on those skills. And so I'm hoping to add some of that content to this channel as well, but that's a bit less accessible of an activity for me, but we'll see, hopefully soon. But if we're focusing on the booktube part, why do I want to talk about books on the internet? I mean, I think books are so important, and I want to share really good books and let other people know about really good books and which ones are the good books. There's so many books, and the truth is they're not all good. And I don't want people to have to waste their time sifting through the junk to find the treasures. So hopefully to help with that. I also want to learn how to talk about books better. I think books are so important and so insanely valuable that I just do not feel competent enough to do them justice. And so I hope to work on that skill, because I think it's really important that people know about it, but I don't feel like I'm good enough to do that. So I'm hoping to learn. Good enough yet. So I'm hoping that I can work on that skill. and not just keep all of these great things to myself. I also would love for this channel to encourage me to read more, because that's just always something that I want to do. I would love if I could make a living doing this and talking about these really good things. That'd be incredible. And also to find more people to talk about these good books with, and to show me good books too. So it'll be fun to hear about what other people are reading and to just be part of that community as well. So I think mainly what I can bring is, I guess, a diverse set of books. People, at least from what I've noticed and the channels that I've seen, read kind of the same thing for the most part, like modern fantasy or contemporary fantasy, science fiction, romance. There might be some channels that are in different niches that I just haven't come across, but it seems to be the main ones and the big ones primarily read in that genre. And I just really want to bring other genres in, because I think especially old books are so good and so important, and have so much that we can learn from, and have such good stories. So I think just showing different books that haven't been getting as much attention in this space. So I'm excited to bring those in. I also really want to learn, and maybe I'm probably not alone in this, but I really want to become a better communicator of these things that I think they're important, and not because I love communicating, but because I think that there is something really important that needs to be shared. And maybe that is one of the things I can bring, is just a different sense of what story means, and how it can really change who we are and the world we live in. And I'm still figuring out how to explain that in a way that makes sense. So come with me. I'm excited about a lot of things. It's okay. Well, first of all, I'm excited about this tree back here, this orange tree. You see this? What a beauty! Gorgeous. I want an orange tree. But I'm also excited about hopefully amping up my reading. I just always want to try and read more. So anything that pushes me in that direction, great. I'm excited to create a catalog of sorts of my reading. I'm excited to meet people and create a new community around books and things that I love. And I'm excited to hopefully make this into something sustainable, something that can support me. A little side hustle, perhaps. A full-blown job would be excellent. But we have high hopes now, because it's the beginning. We have high hopes. Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm excited about the content. I love filming videos. I get a little excited every time I think of a good idea. Lots of excitement. I love so much about reading. I love how powerful stories are, how they can, like, a made-up story can really transform you and just speak so much truth about who we are and about the world we live in. Yeah, it just blows me away how something that we can make up can have such an impact in the real world. I also love how stories can just completely transport you away. They take traveling, but much more affordable. And you can travel not only to places, but into people's minds and into people's homes and into people's food, things that you might not have access to in like the physical world. I love that. I just love the actual act of reading. So the way, um, like holding a book and like flipping through the pages and the way it calms your mind down. And even if you're reading an exciting story, it doesn't like overstimulate you. Like if you're watching a bunch of reels or something, and then your brain just kind of like freaks out. Even if the story's exciting, it still feels like a calming experience. I love all of the like accessories to reading, like the having a bookshelf with all of your books and organizing your books and using a beautiful bookmark uh, and looking at the pile of books that you want to read and lending a book to someone, and going to free libraries around your neighborhood and going through the books in those and walking around a bookstore and walking around a library and asking other people what they're reading. Just all of the little bits that go with books. I love so much. Gets me jazzed just talking about it. Yeah, I love that. I also love the way they bring people together. I noticed this especially with like English classes where there's a group of people and you're reading maybe within 3 months, maybe 5 novels together. And since you're reading so much together in a short period of time, your specific group develops this language and this kind of these shared ideas and shared associations, and it allows you to have these conversations and make inferences. And when you notice things in the world around you that make you think of a story that you read, you look to that person and they know exactly what you're thinking, right? It brings you together, um, in a kind of in a fun way. And I found that with, yeah, like with book clubs, or even if you're just reading a book with a friend, it really transforms the way you look at the world. And it's books transform the way you look at the world. And when someone else experiences that same transformation, it's really fun to share that and to look at something and just be able to go like, oh, you too, me too, like we both get it. So I really like that. I have loved reading as long as I can remember. When I was little, I was always reading books. I know my dad read to me a lot. I have a lot of memories of sitting on the couch with him and he read Roald Dahl and things like Wind in the Willows out loud to me. We read a lot of books like that. I also remember I would read a book and then I wouldn't know what to pick next. This was when I was like grade 3, grade 4, and I would finish a book and then I remember going to him and always asking what I should read next, and then he would pull a book off the shelf and pass it to me. So I think my parents definitely encouraged my love of reading, but it didn't feel like they were forcing me or any way, or like they read, but they didn't. I'm definitely the most obsessed in my family. Definitely the most obsessed. But they for sure encouraged it and supported it, and I always had books available. They would get me the books that I wanted. I always got books as gifts. So I think having that, like that support and access to all of those resources. We also went to the library a bit. I remember mostly when I was younger, like really young, we went to the library, but our local library was pretty lame. Is the truth. But I do remember going, and I don't. It feels like it was something that was always in me, but then the people around me supported it and helped it blossom, if you will. It was a little orange seed, and now it's orange. So Yeah, I'm sorry. I think one of my biggest challenges will be making sure that making content doesn't get in the way of doing the things that I actually want to do. Which I say that because I've already kind of noticed that when you like make a video or when you are living your life in a way where you're making content from parts of your life, it's easy to start thinking about the things you're doing in a way on like how they will translate, like and how they would translate into the internet. Does that make sense? So instead of just having a calming afternoon reading, you're thinking, oh, this will be a good angle for this shot. I hope I can hurry up and finish this book so I can make a video. And then like in the back of your mind the whole time, you're kind of thinking, oh, I hope that video got views. Should I check and see how that video is doing? You know, like maybe I should post this. I should be editing this. You know, it's a job that doesn't have a like easy, like it's not a 9 to 5 where you can leave the office, you know, check out. It's very much something that can easily become all consuming. And I've kind of noticed that I do have a tendency to just like do a little excessive refreshing when I like post a new video, and I really need to make sure I keep that in check because I love kind of a disconnected life a little bit. I don't want to be checking my phone all the time. I don't want to be thinking about checking my phone all the time. And I actually want to spend my life reading, which is the point of this. And so I think keeping that in check will be one of my biggest challenges, keeping that mindset in check and being able to like put away the online bit when I don't need to be doing it. I think another challenge will be just learning how to talk about books in a way that does them justice. That's the part I think most afraid of, is not being able to really convey their importance. But I'm gonna learn. I'm working on it. Yeah, I think those will be my biggest challenges. Like I was talking about before, I feel like I've always been reading, but as a kid, the books I really remember, a series of Unfortunate Events. I read that series I think 3 times. There's about 13 books. I remember this book that I read it and I thought, wow, this is really good. It is called The Red Necklace by I don't remember. I'll write it in the description. But I remember being blown away by that when I was little. I read a lot of Nancy Drew. I collected the Nancy Drew. I think I have like 1 to 56, which I think is the original set, I think. So I read lots of those. Mysterious Benedict Society. I love those books. And yeah, reading, like I read Roald Dahl with my dad, like I mentioned. I loved Roald Dahl. That's who I think I used to say was my favorite author. When people asked me as a kid, I think I would say Roald Dahl. Yeah. So I really love those books. I also read a lot of books that I didn't understand as a kid. I don't know why, but just always I've had this thing in me where if I start a book, I just feel like I have to finish it, even if it's just the worst. And so I would read books that were like way above my pay grade, but I would read every word, but most of it wouldn't enter my brain. So I don't know what that did, but I do remember doing that a lot. Especially with French. I did elementary school in French, and so I would try and read French books, which were hard to find in my small town, to be fair. So the pickings were slim, but yeah, those are some of the ones that I remember from when I was younger. I read kind of in a lot of places. I'm someone who likes to read everywhere. I probably read best in the morning when I'm in my house and it's quiet and I have my coffee. Ideally, I would like to read for a couple hours when I first get up in the morning. And that is my favorite, most productive reading time. But I always have a book with me, like literally always. So I read on public transport a lot. If I have some like free time, I love to go to cafes and read. I like to read with friends. I like to read while I wait in lines and while I wait for the bus. I like to read at the beach in the summer. I love reading at the beach in the summer. I probably do that every day, as much as I can get to the beach. I, yeah, I think kind of wherever I have some quiet-ish downtime, I read. And I am going to combine this answer with what do you read, because it kind of changes depending where I am. So I read very widely, um, and I'll talk about genres that I like in a second. But like for example, in the morning when I'm fresh at home and it's quiet, I can read basically anything. The hardest books that I read, I can read then because I'm fresh. There's no distractions. Some books it's really hard to read in little bits when you're waiting in line. You really need like more focus to get into them. Um, and like right before bed, I usually like to read something really light and easy to follow. You just like a story or something written in contemporary English that doesn't take too much brain power because I don't have it as I'm about to fall asleep. Uh, so I kind of read everywhere, but what I read depends on what time of day it is and where I am, which is one of the reasons why I often am reading multiple books at a time, because I want to read all the time, but I can't read every kind of book all the time. Yes. Okay, now what do I read? I read old books. And what do I mean by old books? I mean, I kind of read everything, but everything from the beginning of when we have anything written down to like 1950. I feel like it's oldish, you know? I just I like reading old books because I feel like the books that are not worth reading have already been forgotten about and weeded out over the centuries. And the good ones have been reprinted and have stuck around. So if I'm not sure about a book or I've never heard of it before, it feels like a safer bet if it's been around for 300 years than if it just came out. I love, what are some of my favorite genres? I love travel literature. Yeah, of all like contemporary and from like the 1900s, 1800s. I find it so fun. I love books about food. Like I really love books about food. I I mean I read fiction and nonfiction. Uh, I really love Victorian novels. Those are fun. I find that they're like often so wacky. I I really enjoy, what else do I enjoy? I mean, I love nonfiction just on like any topic that I'm interested in. So it could be something about mental health, it could be something about, I guess books about food are usually nonfiction. Uh, Maybe about like, I love reading books about the place I'm about to travel to. So that's one of the things I do before I go anywhere is try and find a bunch of books about the place or written by authors who are from those places. So I end up reading a lot of those, or books geared towards my travels. I yeah, I love good stories in any form. Is the main draw. Oh, I also read a lot of books on like religion, Christianity. I yeah, I like fantasy. I honestly I kind of like it all. I kind of like it all. I realized I did not film an outro for that video, so here I am. Just want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe. Let me know if you have any more questions about my answers, or would love to hear your answers to these questions. I hope you have a good day. See you soon.